Hi, so today I'm going to talk about the component parts of writing a news style story and the difference between a news story and an essay. So typically people are accustomed to writing an essay format, which usually begins with an opening paragraph where you include your thesis, and then you support your thesis with 3 or 4 paragraphs, and each paragraph focuses on one specific aspect that supports your thesis. You wrap it up by restating your thesis and you write a conclusion to kind of tie things together. With news style writing, you take those most important parts, those most important details in each of those paragraphs, and you say it all at the beginning, all at once. We call this the lead. It's kind of the hook of the story. We want the readers to be able to read the first sentence or the first few sentences of the story and to know immediately what the story is about. And in order for them to know what it's about, they need to know, like, okay, what decisions were made, how does this affect the most amount of people, and what actually happened. It needs to answer the questions of who, what, when, where, why, and how. Sometimes it can be a little much to include all of the answers to those questions, but you need to include the answers that are the most relevant to the story itself. So the general rule for organizing a news story is you put the most important details at the beginning and the least important details at the end. And these are like supporting details, things that are relevant but maybe not as important. So another difference is that at the end of the story, you don't write a conclusion. There's no need to tie things together because you're not necessarily trying to convince anyone of anything. You're just saying what happened. Also, something to remember when writing a lead, the beginning sentence, the hook of the story, is to tell them what happened instead of telling them what you're going to tell them. So an example of this might be like students shared their thoughts about what happened at the dance versus students thought it was terrible that the sewage leak made the dance smell awful. So can you see that instead of just telling them what you're going to tell them, you tell them right off the bat. That's an important part because that first sentence, students talked about what they thought, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of fluff. And with news style writing, there's no fluff. You just get to the point, deliver the information, and that's it. Trying to think. So it can be kind of tough deciding what details are the most important. And I guess a question that you might have is how do you decide? What I usually consider when deciding what details to put first and what's the most relevant information is, okay, I need to include the decisions that people made, and I need to include the information that will affect the most amount of people's lives, and also include just thoughts and opinions right off the bat, if that's what the story's about. It really needs to cater to what the story's about. So like for the city council update that I wrote a couple days ago, one of the topics that they discussed was how the city might fundamentally be changing the downtown area of North Ogden. So they're thinking about slowing down the speed limit to 35 miles per hour and making the downtown area more walkable. So I put this information at the very beginning of the story because the people need to know about what's going on, so if they feel strongly one way or another, or even if they don't, it would be wise for them to interact with the city council and let them know what their thoughts and opinions are. So that is how I made that decision. But again, it comes with experience and just thinking critically about the information that is presented to you. So yeah, that's the basics of news style writing and how to create a story.